Hello, welcome back. Today I will be just basically watching with you an interview from Triple J, I think it's called. It's a channel, so there it is. It's called Triple J. And thank you for those who provided the link. Several of you have. And yeah, because I lost it last time. I started watching it until they were talking about Prometheus. And then I stepped away, and when I came back, I couldn't find it anymore. So, thank you. And what else? Yeah, so I wanted to take a look at this. I mean, any interview with Aurora is always entertaining because she's Aurora. How could I put it? That's the best way I know to put it. So today I don't have as much sunlight, so I'm using some artificial light actually, basically my lamp. Hopefully this is okay. So, or at least it turns out okay. Yeah, the reason I'm doing this is because in the last video I was thinking about editing out the whole spiel of the Greek mythology, but I left it in there just in case people were interested. But then it occurred to me that most of the information today is on the internet. So if people want to actually know about that, they probably could search it themselves. I just thought I found that interesting, and I started talking about it, and I couldn't stop. So mainly because of the idea. I'm trying to figure out what is the idea that how does she think the new album, how that relates, to the gods of mythology. So that's why I'm interested in knowing about that as well. So yeah. Anyway, let me see if I can get some more information here. So let's watch.
Aurora, welcome back to Triple J.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How are you? I saw on TikTok.
That what it reminds me of, with that little laugh. Now that I think about it, it just occurred to me. It sounds like the Pillsbury Doughboy. For those of you who are not familiar with it, well, look it up. Pillsbury Doughboy. That's that cute little laugh. That's what she giggle. That she has.
A couple of days ago that you were hiding in a forest. Are you still hiding in a forest?
No, not at the moment, but I have been hiding for quite some time. And I've just been, talking with the squirrels and hugging the trees and doing all of those things. It's been very lovely. And I've also...
Sorry, at least she's not hugging the trees, or at least she's not talking to the trees and hugging the girls. Well, she's probably doing that too. I don't know what she's doing.
Had a lot of wine. It's a very good combination.
Wait, wine. Her and wine. What is this with Norwegians and wine?
But I have been hiding for quite some time. And I've just been, talking with the squirrels and hugging the trees and doing all of those things. It's been very lovely. And I've also had a lot of wine. It's a very good combination between like healing and poison. But now I'm back.
Actually, that defines a lot of what Aurora seems to be, the good and bad type of thing, in the sense of how she perceives the two as being one, organic. Anyway.
Mainland.
I feel like the only time I've ever talked to squirrels has also been after some wine.
Yes, of course.
What? What did he say? That when he speaks to girls, it's after he's had some wine?
Healing and poison. But now I'm back to the mainland.
I feel like the only time I've ever talked to squirrels has also been after some wine.
Oh, squirrels.
Yes, of course.
That's funny.
Apart from music, how have you been entertaining yourself recently, Aurora?
Oh, well, the same things as always. I am very good at entertaining myself. I find myself very entertaining. Well, I've just been painting and existing in my home, eating a lot of food, a lot of delicious food, and drying things. I've become an expert, if I must say.
Like
Of
drying what
drying-
sorts of things?
Like flowers or fruit or
Yes, both flowers, fruit, and bugs.
bugs?
And I'm very good at it. So that's been a very splendid hobby.
Is
to
that a
have.
hobby that you learned as a kid or something, or is this something you've just learned recently?
Well, I learned, or I guess I feel like it's a thing I've always known deep in my heart. Drying things. Like,
I just put them in the sun.
but-
How hard could it be? Yeah.
yes, yes.
I
No, but
do.
I started doing it lately.
All
It's a
right.
new hobby.
Yeah, I'm always impressed with every time I check in with your socials or anything, that how your ability to not only entertain yourself but also find joy in small things. You know, I the other day I saw you were just talking about how much you loved carrots.
Yes,
And it's just like, that's so great.
I love them.
Like,
I
What do you love
dressed up
about?
like one today.
you actually have.
What do you love about carrots so much?
Well, obviously, besides the fact that they're orange, you know, I love the sound they make, and I love their
That was an
taste.
incredible carrot impression
Yeah,
you just
it was
did.
bang on.
People listening at home would not be able to know this, but you don't have a carrot. You just did that with your mouth. That was
yes.
really impressive.
Very.
One of my many mouth talents.
Okay. This is where I think, because I remember this. This is where I think her brilliance. She was so far ahead of conversations. You know, that I find that she's already skipped to something else, and now she's going to redress that what she just said, so that it doesn't leave like too much of a bizarre thought behind it or anything like that. It just she's too much in the way she does things.
No, no, I just love carrots. They're fresh, and there is something about them that never fails to cheer me up. Yes.
That's beautiful. But on to music. Apart from obviously drying bugs, hugging trees, chatting to squirrels, all amazing
Yeah.
stuff, and we could talk about those forever, frankly. But there is a new song called "Give In to the Love," which we're going to put on in just a second.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit about where this started for you?
This is
But
where.
I was thinking one
This
day,
is where I stopped. Well, just after this.
as you do, you know, and I was thinking a lot about.
Wait, I was thinking the other day, as you do, as people do think.
Well, I was thinking one day, as you do, you know, and I was thinking a lot about what is it called again? The you know, the third Alien movie. What is it called?
Prometheus?
Yes, thank you. I was thinking about Prometheus.
See, this is where I mentioned, you know, that two wrongs make a right, because the connection was there, you know, even though the fact was incorrect, because Alien, the third Alien movie was Alien 3, as I mentioned in the previous video, and then there's the fourth one, Alien 4, and then there's the Resurrection. That's what it's called, Alien 4: The Resurrection, I think it's called, and then there's Prometheus after that. So, but it's funny, sometimes, you know, we communicate with people, and we connect, and it's not on the same. The facts are secondary, it seems, right? And it's really cool, you know, how the brain works.
Not
The movie or
of
the
course.
myth?
The myth.
Okay.
'Cause I'm
Okay, so
very-
now she's talking about the myth, Prometheus. This is where I stopped last time.
Prometheus. Not
The movie or
of
the
course.
myth?
The myth.
Okay.
Because I'm very interested in mythology. I just think it's the most fantastic thing ever. And I was thinking about Prometheus and how he supposedly made mankind in clay, and how he stole the fire from the gods to kind of make us alive and complete us, I guess. And I was thinking about this clay and how much we obsess with the looks of this clay that kind of means nothing, and how it seems to distract us from the value of, I guess, the fire that we keep inside. And that's very sad. I think the world today makes a lot of people very unhappy because we obsess with these strange things, like how we look. So many people base their whole worth on how they look, and they never feel like they look beautiful enough. And I find this obsession with beauty both very fascinating and very scary at the same time. So it's kind of about that. I guess clay, no, no. Fire, yes, yes.
I love the way she breaks things down, into the simplest form. And I think that's what the music is about for her, right? She, even with these, the mythology aspect, the Greek mythology, I think she just breaks it down into a very simple thing in her simple idea, in her music, in her album. But I can see how much of the motivation she can get from the Greek mythology, just on that alone, the Greek mythologies, because I think she's going to combine the two in some way. But it just, because the storylines behind those things are like somewhat legendary, in the sense of like a lot of things seem to have been, other stories have derived from those, like there's one story about Psyche, that's the name of one of a Greek person in the mythology. And that's really probably the only one of the few, because there's a lot about romantic ideas within those stories. And it's about attraction, desire, revenge, a lot of revenge. And anyway, and what was I saying? Yeah, and that's one of the nicest stories, the story of Psyche and Eros. Eros was the Cupid, in Roman mythology it's Cupid, Greek mythology it's Eros. And that's a very sweet story, very nice story that actually ends well, relatively speaking, to the other ones. And I wonder if she's going to do one of the songs from that, because that's actually nice. The rest are really, a lot of them are really, don't turn out nicely for the couples, let's say, put it this way, or for the people involved. But there are a couple of stories, like I said, that are very nice. So I'm wondering which songs she's going to adapt, or she's going to take from the thought of that, because the story of Psyche, the reason I mentioned that, it's also like almost a story of like a Beauty and the Beast type of thing. So you can imagine how that would sort of works in a way, how people might have gotten the idea from these myths in the past to provide to make their own stories derived from those, Okay.
Wonderful.
A perfect assessment.
Aurora, you were just saying that song was kind of inspired by the myth of Prometheus. So you were saying stole fire from the gods to give to mankind. Have you ever stolen something? Are you much of a thief?
Well, I guess I have. I've enjoyed a bit of like picnicking my whole life. I love stealing flowers from other people's gardens.
Did you say picnicking?
What's picnicking?
Yeah.
Oh, is it not a word? I thought it was like your word. You did this.
My business. I don't want to. Frankly, it's adorable. So I would love to take responsibility for it, but I don't know if that is ours. Nitpicking? No.
Okay.
I don't.
Picnicking?
I think she just invented it. I think she just invented a word, But it makes sense that she would do that, because I've heard her say in another interview, in the Australian interview, the one with the birds, okay, and so on, because she's, like, I made these couple of videos with the birds. I actually have another one in which I edited, because I've included another part. And it's sort of like a vindication for Aurora. I haven't yet posted it, but and again, I just edited up the ones with the birds, because she has this thing about birds and especially seagulls in particular, right? But the conversation seems to always end up in that direction for some reason. But that conversation in the other interview. And maybe it was the same people. No, I don't know, actually. I think it was somebody else. Anyway, it was two people interviewing her, and I think from Australia. So, what I want to say? I forgot. No. Anyway, I'm just gonna go on. I'm gonna hold on. Okay.
I don't want to. I
This is-
frankly,
Oh, right, the picnicking. Yeah, so even there, she sort of said a word. I can't remember what the word was, and then they corrected her. You mean this? She goes, no. She goes, oh, that's what. No, she goes, no, and then she continued with the word that she invented or she came up with. And it makes sense because even as let's say a poet, you sort of like, I think, it's not just the meaning of the word, but how the word feels and sounds. That's important as well. And sometimes even if the word doesn't exist exactly, that's sort of the latitude and the permission that poets get, in order to express themselves fully. So I'm not surprised that even words that she might misinterpret in some way, but in her mind they fit well, actually do fit well. Maybe she's gonna come up with her own lexicon or.
it's adorable. So I would love to take responsibility for it, but I don't know if that is ours. Nitpicking? No.
Okay. Picnicking?
Picnicking.
Nick-
If you were
no,
to
nitpicking.
define lip picking,
Nitpicking? Picnic? No,
Guy's doing.
if I was to define nitpicking, I would say it's about like stealing one of each. Like not a lot.
oh, like
Not like a bunch. But you
Okay.
steal one thing. Like
okay.
stealing one gum, one child, one flower. It's like a
Child.
tiny thief theft.
Hmm. Yeah, because
But yes.
nitpicking
How
is a
does she
word,
go
but
to
it doesn't mean that. But frankly,
child?
I don't
it should.
care.
Yeah, it does now.
It's a better definition.
Yeah.
Yes, call the police and tell them. It should become a word.
So it's not kidnapping; it's napping. What what?
We're adding an adorable new crime,
Picnicking.
police. You've also been you've had such a wild few years of like things blowing up, including
she drinking?
it's often interesting when a song
What is she drinking? What is that? I've never seen that before. That must be a Norwegian thing.
finds a new life on TikTok. And your song "Runaway" has found a life on TikTok. This part in particular, people on TikTok might recognize it around
Yeah?
the world.
Half a
It must
million.
have been so incredible. Were there any that stood out to you?
500,000.
Well, I think
Imagine that. 500,000 have copied her, done a cover of her song. Jeez. I didn't even know that were 500,000 people had watched it. Wow.
all the videos that I could see were made like from countries on the other side of the world hit me in quite a magical way, and I was very moved, I guess, by people allowing my song into their hearts during. I know it was a hard time when that song kind of lived its best teenage life out there. I felt like people maybe needed a song like that, which is very touching and very like it's very brave to let anything into your heart and touch it. So I felt very touched by it. But yeah, it was nice also to see people kind of uniting during during such a separated time and seeing them keep themselves busy with this trend thing isolated in their rooms. It's a very touching thing, but also it's very absurd, so I also kind of don't care so much.
Yeah.
See, this is the duality of Aurora, that she accepts and that she is. Because she has both, right? She wants to be complimentary about the fact that her stuff is doing well, but at the same time, she doesn't really. It's not an emphasis for her. It's just that she's sharing stuff, and she's glad other people are taking it in, as she says, right?
Yeah.
There's just such a wide array of different types of TikToks people have made involving it. Sometimes people are doing acrobatics. Sometimes
What
they're
is
just,
that?
singing in their room. I saw one man walking his pet tiger to the song in a beautiful, wonderful backdrop. There's a lot going on with that song, and it feels like I guess if you write a song, there's no way you could imagine that it could mean so many different things to so many different people.
Okay,
Oh.
pet tiger. They should have just left it there and see what she would have to have said, about that.
Full wonderful backdrop. There's a lot going on with that song, and it feels like I guess if you write a song, there's no way you could imagine that it could mean so many different things to so many different people.
Oh no, not at all. And I wrote this when I was like 11. I was so young then. I didn't even know what nitpicking meant. No, I was very.
Okay, this girl is so smart, and you know what? It just that's how I see it. Witty and so quick. Jeez, if I was interviewing her, I'd have trouble keeping up because her mind is going so fast. Jeez, I would need to eat a lot of chocolate to keep up with her.
Very young when I wrote it, and it's very surreal. But I
No,
guess
the reason I mentioned that is because, that she makes a joke, and it's not the first time that she does that in interviews, that she makes a joke related to something that she said or somebody brought up previously in the discussion, within the discussion. It's like you have to be so calm and so collected to be able to be so relaxed that you're able to keep in mind all the things that are going on in the conversation, and then keep a thread in the conversation. It's like a fantastic, one of the best, let's say, like a comedian doing a skit where the best ones would be like he starts with something and then he ends referring back to what he started with. And she's a natural comedian.
His pet tiger to the song in a beautiful, wonderful backdrop.
See, I would have loved to have heard what she had to say about that, but they went on.
There's a lot going on with that song, and it feels like I guess if you write a song, there's no way you could imagine that it could mean so many different things to so many different people.
Oh no, not at all. And I wrote this when I was like 11. I was so young then. I didn't even know what nitpicking meant.
I mean, come on, I mean, really.
No, I was very young when I wrote
just...
it, and it's very surreal. But I guess it makes sense also, because whatever comes from an authentic place on the inside will hit.
Like the reason I say that's really witty and stuff, because it's not prepared. It cannot be prepared what she just did, which is refer back to picnicking, and when she didn't know what she was so young that she didn't know what picnicking was, referring back to the whole idea of the dictionary and stuff of the word, and that she just invented it. And
authentic places on the outside for other people, or I guess it just makes sense, like in the balance of the universe and the whole existence of everything forever and ever.
Well, obviously that's a very old song, still doing well, and now there's this brand new one. But are you working on an album at the moment, Aurora?
yeah.
Yes, sir, I am indeed. I have been working on an album, as we all have, I think. I think every single artist have, because
We have.
finally been. Yes, you have. We all have. But it's yes, I have, and it's been wonderful. I rented this, or like I stayed in a little castle here in Norway for like a month, and I just made the whole thing.
Wow.
It was a very nice thing.
Castle.
Also a lot of wine and squirrels included, in a completely platonic way, of course. Not misunderstand.
Oh, this girl. She's too funny, But it's like, and the castle thing. Wait a second. Now that I think about it, didn't she? I remember seeing some video or something. Yeah, when she was doing the Oscars or something. Didn't she do like a video of the song that she did, the Frozen song or something, from a castle? Is that the castle she's referring to, or is that something else? I don't know.
But yes, of course. Yes, it was really, it was a beautiful adventure, and I made this album asking a lot of questions, I think. Not really claiming that I have any answers, but I'm asking a lot of, I think, important questions about, you know, this one little tiny life we have been given, and whether we spend it in the right way.
Did you, when you're making an album in a castle, did you know anything about the castle or the history of?
It's like watching this this beautiful mind, you know. That's what it is, you know. Aurora. It's like watching Aurora. It's like this beautiful mind interpreting things, and it's so profound and it's so deep, and she can go so much further with what she's saying, and they move on to something else, you know. But she has so much more to say about that, and then, like I said, they move on to something else, you know.
Of it before you booked it? Do you know
Hold
what
on.
happened there, or
Wait.
Questions about, you know,
This
one little tiny life we have been given.
There's so much behind all the things that she's saying right now.
Whether we spend it in the right way.
Did you?
I mean, that, you know, I'd be interested to, you know, that's the that look, you know, because she's like, her mind is going here, and she, at least that's the impression I get. Like she's thinking very profound things, and yeah.
When you're making an album in a castle, did you know anything about the castle or the?
And then she goes back to her juice. And then she goes back to it, you know, like a child, you know, playing with the juice, whatever that is, you know. That's, she goes from this incredibly wise person to like back to the child, which in a sense it is one and the same, you know, because you have to be connected to the innocence. That's what makes a person enlightened, you know, a person that's never touched by profoundly touched by negativity, in the sense of it never smudges their innocence. That is that's an enlightened person, you know.
History of it before you booked it? Do you know what happened there, or was it a famous castle? I know nothing about anything, so I don't know anything about castles.
And nothing about anything?
Well, sorry, I meant with regards to Norwegian castles. Sorry, yes.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's much better. Well, it is a very small castle, and I kind of know the people that keep it like.
Oh yeah,
keep
maintain it.
warm, I guess.
Warm.
Yes, and I was allowed to stay there. I asked them, and they said yes. They said I do, and it was just lovely.
Like a marriage.
It's like you have to jump on a boat, or you can technically walk, of course. But I like to jump because there's a little space between like land and the boat. So I jump on the boat, and it takes 2
There's a
hours,
moat?
and then you arrive in this beautiful little place called Rosendale.
Rosendale.
And there are many like huge mountains there, and they all kind of bend over the little village like they're kind of taking care of it. And the castle is like 500 years old, 400 years old, 400. And it was owned a long time ago by a French baron who was very interested in arts and the healing, you know, possibilities of music. So that's why I went there. It just felt right.
Wow. Are there good acoustics in a castle?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Good to know. Because we're obviously working on our album as well.
Yeah,
And
we'll
we're
have to
just-
find a castle here in Australia to record it in, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think there's like a macadamia castle in northern New South Wales. Yeah, we'll look into it.
Macadamia.
Yeah.
Look into it.
But Aurora, you're also doing a huge tour around Europe next year. Do you have any thoughts about maybe being able to come to Australia if things are allowed next year?
Well, yes, I hope. I love being in Australia. I always feel so alive there. And I love the bats.
The
and
what?
I also love the people.
The
You're
what?
so freaking friendly.
Wait, she loves the bats and the people. Again, the bats. Again, with these flying things, you know? What is going on with this girl?
And it's so nice.
It's
It's
telling,
so
though, that
nice.
you
I
love-
love Australia.
When you were listing the things you love, it went bats first and then people. So, you know, it's...
Yes, it would be weird otherwise.
Are there no bats in Norway?
We have them, I think, but they're very small.
Uh,
And they're not as impressive. Like, they have no confidence.
These insecure Norwegian bats. The poor bats in Norway.
very arrogant bats.
See how she actually personifies him. She makes bats seem like she gives animals and things almost the human attributes, you know, and that's that. So I can see why she's interested in mythology, because there's a lot of that in mythology as well.
Well, it would be a pleasure. Hopefully, we will get to see you
Oh, it's
in the
almost
country
finished.
really soon, and
Yes,
hopefully
I
get
hope
to.
so.
Yeah, we'd love to hear more from this album as well. For the meantime, Aurora, such a pleasure as always. We'll chat to you again soon.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Bless you all.
She's so natural. I mean, she's so easy to interview. You know, like, and she, she makes for fantastic interviews, just because she's so at ease and natural and spontaneous and smart and witty and always has something interesting to say. It's never what you expect, you know, and I think that's what she does well. You know? And the same thing with the music. I think she likes to make music that people don't necessarily expect, and I think that's part of a transformation from one album to the next or something, at least that, from the little that I've seen. So okay, I think that's about it. So have a great day. Hopefully this was okay. Take care. Bye.